What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Cardi here, man. If y'all see right now, I'm coming back with y'all with another reaction video. 3 true stories about Diddy, man. You already know Diddy is Litty Titty, you heard? Let's get started. You already know, man. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, make sure with your family, your friends, your loved ones, and yeah, let's get it.
Night, I could feel his eyes on me. Vanna! His booming voice cut through the room. The night had started like any other. Cassie's penthouse was dripping with luxury, with floor-to-ceiling windows framing a glittering Los Angeles skyline. Soft music, laughter, and the clinking of champagne glasses filled the air. I stood near the bar, sipping my drink, and watching the city lights twinkle. This was the life I thought I wanted, a designer in Sean Diddy Combs' world. But even in moments of triumph, I walked around with a quiet unease. Diddy's charm could turn on a dime, his smile masking something darker. I had always tried to stay in his good graces, but that night, I could feel his eyes on me. Vanna! His booming voice cut through the room.
They know Diddy voice does not sound like that. Vanna! It's someone like, Vanna, what you doing? What you doing? Take that, take that.
I turned to look at him and he was grinning. There was something about the expression that made my skin crawl. He beckoned me over, his hand gripping a glass of liquor. Come here, he said. His tone was sharp, almost accusing as I approached. Who you been talking to? He asked, leaning close.
What?
I blinked, confused. You think I don't know? His grin was gone now, replaced by something cold. Don't lie to me, he snapped, his voice cutting through the hum of the party. People nearby glanced our way, then quickly turned away. My stomach tightened.
I haven't said anything, I swear.
He grabbed my wrist, his grip iron strong. Come with me, he hissed, dragging me toward the sliding glass doors. The cold night air sliced
Hold on, Mr. Dilla, what you doing, bruh?
through my dress as we stepped onto the balcony.
Look at her. Hey, no, wait, but look at her body build, bro. Look, just peep her beard, peep her build out, bro. I'm just saying.
The wind was sharp, carrying the distant hum of traffic from 17 stories below. You think you can cross me? He growled, his voice low and venomous.
What do you mean?
I stammered, my heart pounding. You've been consorting with my competition, he snarled.
I haven't, I swear.
He didn't listen. His hands shot out, grasping my arms. Before I could respond, he pushed me backward. The cold metal railing hit me, biting into my back. I instantly understood the grave danger
Oh, he about to push her off.
I was in. Maybe I should teach you a lesson, he said, his voice eerily calm now, like a snake coiling before the strike.
No!
I screamed, but the words were ripped from my throat as he grabbed me by the arms and lifted me up. Suddenly, there was nothing beneath me. The world tilted violently, and I was dangling over the edge. The air was cold and biting, rushing past my legs as they fluttered uselessly. My hands clawed my arms, my nails digging into his skin, but his grip was tightening. I couldn't breathe. My vision blurred with tears, the city below me a swirling vortex of lights and death. My mind raced, filled with images of the fall, the rush of air, the sickening thud of my body hitting the pavement, the blood. Admit it! He roared, shaking me like a doll. The motion made me scream, my body jerking uncontrollably.
I didn't do anything!
I sobbed, my voice ragged, but the words barely registered. His face twisted into something monstrous, a mask of rage and power.
Wait, why does he look like that?
For a moment, I thought I saw him glance down as if he were calculating the distance to the ground. Was he gonna let go? I felt myself slipping, the cold steel of the railing pressing into my ribs as his grip shifted. My legs kicked wildly, my nails digging deeper into his arms.
Please, please don't.
I screamed, my voice raw and desperate. The wind roared, drowning out everything else. All I could hear was my own heartbeat, hammering in my ears like a countdown to the inevitable. He jerked me back over the edge. I collapsed onto the cold tiles of the balcony, my body trembling uncontrollably. My chest...
Okay, so if the party, where's everyone else? Where's everyone else? Like, you telling me there's nobody else at this party? You said it was a party, so there's nobody seeing you been dangled by Diddy over the edge. No one tried to...
Just pumped as I gasped for air.
I mean, I'm not saying that's not impossible, because what is actually being charged for today, in today's time, there are people there that didn't do anything, so...
My heart still racing like it was trying to escape my rib cage. But he wasn't done. Get up! He barked, grabbing me by the shoulders and dragging me to my feet. His fingers dug into my skin, leaving bruises that would linger for days. He shoved me back.
Alright, at what point do we fight back? Like, at what point do we start realizing it's life or death? Fight or flight. You ain't running, you ain't flying, so you gotta fight.
Into a patio chair, the impact jarring my already fragile body. My head snapped back, sudden blackout in my vision.
The way her head, let me go back. The way her head looked like this, she got a wig on, about to fly off, doesn't it?
Body. My head snapped back, sudden blackout in my
She
vision.
bald.
You think you can walk away from me? He hissed, leaning down until his face was inches from mine. You're nothing without me. Nothing! I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. The terror coursing through me had frozen my body. After what felt like an eternity, he stormed back inside, slamming the door behind him. I sat there for what felt like hours, feeling the cold seep into my skin. My mind rewound the moment I was dangling off that edge, my life in his hands. I came out of that apartment, my legs shaking, unable to walk, but it was nothing compared to what my arms looked like now, thumping in their bruised spots, whereas the scars ran deep into my emotional core. He could have killed me. This was not the first time Diddy's anger had boiled over, but I swear it would be the last time I stayed silent. I survived that night. Now, the world needs to know the truth. Sean Diddy Combs is facing a lawsuit from fashion designer Brianna Bonham.
Wait, this weird. This is real? Wait, this is real? I know it says real, but anybody know? Alright. I had a blind moment.
Bongolan, who alleges that in 2016 he assaulted her by groping her and attempting to dangle her off a 17th floor balcony at Cassie Ventura's apartment. Bona claims she feared for her life during the incident, which she says was part of an ongoing intimidation and abuse while working professionally with Combs. She's seeking $10 million in damages for emotional distress and other allegations, including sexual battery and false imprisonment. Combs, who denies the claims, is also facing other legal challenges related to abuse and misconduct. I was so ecstatic to join Justin Bieber's PR team. At just 15 years old, Justin was already breaking records at every turn. People were crazy about him, and we did everything we could to keep his image squeaky clean. The first time I met P. Diddy, I knew he was trouble. He had this larger-than-life presence, always surrounded by bodyguards, women, and people who looked like they owed.
Hey, nah, he's on something. He's on something, bro. Hey, look at his eyes. Why is this? Alright, let me tighten up.
Him something. When Justin got invited to one of Diddy's parties, everyone thought it was a good move for his career. Diddy was a legend, and hanging with him would make Justin look more mature and more connected. Nobody saw the red flags. That party, it wasn't what I thought it'd be. Walking in, I felt it was all wrong. Music blared, lights were dim, and everything reeked of booze and weed. People were doing lines off glass tables, women fainted on couches, and guys laughed too hard in rooms behind locked doors. It wasn't just wild, it was sinister. Justin was way out of his depth. I could see it in his eyes. He was nervous, trying to act like he belonged, but he didn't. Then Diddy appeared, grinning like a wolf. "There's my guy," he said, throwing an arm around Justin. He pulled him away from the group, further into the house. I tried to follow, but one of Diddy's men stepped in my way, smirking. "He's good," the guy said. The whole night felt like it was spiraling out of control. I saw Diddy take Justin into a room and shut the door behind them. When Justin came out, he looked pale, like he'd seen something he couldn't process. "You okay?"
Diddy gave him that Diddy. Diddy gave him that deadly. He did. He did. As a man,
I asked, keeping my tone casual. Justin nodded, avoiding eye contact. His hands were shaking. "Yeah, just tired," he muttered. A few weeks later, the infamous 48 hours happened. Diddy said he wanted to show Justin what it was like to live big. No one could stop it. Diddy was too powerful and Justin was too starstruck to say no. For 2 days, Justin vanished. No calls, no updates, nothing. When he came back, he wasn't the same. His face was pale and his energy drained. I tried joking with him, but he barely reacted. "What happened?" I asked when we were alone. He looked at me, his voice low. "It's just a lot," he said. "He doesn't stop." That's when the text began. Diddy would text Justin at odd hours, saying things like, "Come over tonight, we gotta talk," or "You owe me, kid." At first, Justin laughed it off, but it wore him down fast. One night, he just sat there, staring at his phone without blinking. "What is it?" I asked. Justin showed me the message. "You can't ghost me."
hello.
"Don't forget what I've done for you." After that, the parties became worse, pure nightmares. I saw women and men barely conscious, being carried upstairs, men disappearing into locked rooms with people who looked terrified. Drugs were everywhere, on trays, in people's hands, on mirrors in the bathrooms. Even people were slitting their skin with knives to rub drugs. Diddy dragged Justin into the worst of it, isolating him from everyone else. Once I found Justin sitting stiffly on a couch while Diddy sat too close, whispering into his ear. Justin looked like he wanted to run, but he couldn't. "Hey, Justin, we need you out front," I said, trying to give him an excuse to leave. Diddy shot a look that dropped my stomach.
Listen, I know Diddy did some foul stuff, but y'all could at least made this man, his eyeball does not. Hold on. Alright.
"We're just talking," he said, his voice calm but cold. Justin bolted the second he could, and I followed. Outside, he finally cracked. "I can't do this anymore," he said, pacing back and forth. His hands were trembling, his voice raw. He keeps trying to get me alone. He doesn't leave me alone." "Then I'm gonna stop this," I told him. "You don't get it," he snapped. "He's Diddy. If I piss him off, what do you think happens to me, to my career?" Justin started making excuses to avoid Diddy, but the texts didn't stop.
He's Diddy, what do I do?
They got worse. "You don't ignore me. You know where to come." Sometimes Justin wouldn't even sleep, sitting in his room staring at his phone like it might explode. The breaking point came at another of Diddy's parties. I stayed close, watching every move. At one point, Diddy grabbed Justin by the arm and dragged him into one of those locked rooms.
Yo, Diddy
I
is
stood
really
outside, heart
Diddy is trying to get some, if he haven't got it already.
racing, but I couldn't get in. When Justin finally came out, he looked shattered, his face pale, his t-shirt wrinkled, and his eyes red like he'd been crying.
That's not funny because this is based on a true story, but Diddy roughed him up. Diddy had his way with him, and that's fun. Freaked out. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is real. I'm be more sensitive to the topic.
"Need to go," he said, his voice shaky. I didn't ask questions. I just got him out of there. Years later, when allegations about Diddy began surfacing, I wasn't shocked. It felt like the world was finally catching up with what we all knew. Justin never spoke about it publicly, but I know it still haunts him. You can see it in the way he flinches at certain names or avoids talking about that time in his life. P. Diddy's recollection of spending 48 hours with a young Justin Bieber.
That's sick though, bruh. That's sick. And people knew though. That's the thing. People knew. Like, it ain't like no one ain't know, because we've heard the stories before. Like, what just came out now has been coming out since he got into the game. Diddy, not talking about Justin Bieber. And who y'all let that man get to Justin?
Remains a significant anecdote.
Just look at his face, bruh.
In their hit.
Look at him. Just look at his face. Yo, Diddy, if you seeing this, bro? If you really seeing this, bro? Nah, you ain't seeing this. You ain't seeing this no time soon, brother. You under the jail.
History. Describing it as a moment of bonding and mentorship, Diddy reflected on seeing Bieber's talent and potential early on. The intense 2-day experience symbolized the passing of wisdom, dreams, and ambition between the generation of artists. While the recent allegations against Diddy cast a shadow over his legacy, this story serves as a reminder of the complex dynamics within the entertainment industry. As Bieber continues to focus on his own journey, the lessons from that time remain a part of his story. It started like any other shift. The 8th floor was quiet, just me and my cart full of towels and soaps. I was finishing up room 807 when I heard voices coming from the elevator. I didn't think much of it at first, but something about that man's voice made me stop. I peeked into the hallway, careful not to be seen. My heart skipped when I saw him, Sean Diddy Combs. He was pacing near the elevator, his face twisted with anger. Beside him was Cassie Ventura. She looked tense, her arms crossed tightly, her eyes darting toward the elevator like she wanted to run.
She's scared,
You think I'm
y'all.
stupid? Diddy spat, his voice low but dripping with venom. You think I don't know what you've been doing behind my back? Cassie shook her head, her voice barely audible.
Sean, you're wrong. I haven't done anything.
Don't lie to me! He roared, and the sound exploded down the hall. I froze. The anger in his voice wasn't normal. It was unhinged. Cassie took a step back, but he grabbed her wrist. She flinched, trying to pull away.
Sean, please. You're hurting me.
She whispered, his iron-strong finger choking her neck, put to the wall, her face visible, struggling for breath. And then he slapped her.
Oh!
The sound rang out like a gunshot, echoing down the hall. Cassie stumbled, grabbing the wall to steady herself. I could see the blood start to drip from her lip, bright red against her pale skin.
Stop!
She cried, but he wasn't listening. You think you can make a fool out of me? You think you can cheat on me? His voice
Cheat?
was low, shaking with rage.
Did he cheat?
He grabbed her by the hair, yanking
Cheat,
her back.
though?
Cassie screamed, her hands clawing at his arms. You're mine! He shouted, shoving her hard against the wall. Her head hit the plaster with a loud thud, leaving blood stains, and she slid to the floor, blood streaming down her face and hair. My hands were shaking
Boy,
as I
ain't no
grabbed my
way,
phone,
boy.
but I couldn't get my fingers to stop trembling long enough to dial. Cassie tried to crawl toward the elevator, her knees dragging across the
Cassie.
floor, blood smeared on the tile as she moved. But Diddy grabbed her ankle,
Diddy!
dragging her back like she was some rag doll.
Yo!
You think you can run from me? He growled. She turned onto
Oh,
her
this in the
back,
towel?
her hands raised to protect herself.
Please, Sean.
Please,
I
Diddy.
didn't do anything.
Please.
She begged.
No,
He
fool,
didn't
that's
care.
crazy,
He
boy.
punched her in the stomach, brutally
Diddy!
hard. I heard the air rush out of her as she crumpled forward, blood drooling out of her bruised lips again, clutching her stomach. Her gasps were wet, like she couldn't breathe, crying,
Puffy,
but no
no.
voice came out. I finally managed to call the front desk, whispering,
Send security to the 8th floor.
Send SWAT team,
Someone's
military
being
to the
attacked.
8th floor.
I stayed hidden, my back pressed against the wall as I
Go to
listened to
Area
Cassie
51.
cry. Diddy was pacing again, muttering
was-
under his breath. Cassie tried to crawl away again, but she was moving
Go,
so
Cassie,
slowly.
go.
The elevator dinged, but it was empty. Where the hell do you think you're going?
Diddy!
He snarled, grabbing her
Oh,
arm and
God.
pulling her to her feet. Her knees buckled, and she collapsed again,
Diddy,
her
no,
body trembling.
Diddy.
He stepped on her waist with his feet, pushing down and grabbing her hair and pulling her head up as if he would break her literally like a puppet. Her face bruised and bloody, almost unrecognizable. I'll break you enough so that no one dares touch you again. How does that sound, babe? Sean said with a maddening grin.
Okay, I don't know
The
if all
service
this
elevator finally
I don't know all
opened,
this
and two
happened.
security
Hold on.
guards rushed out. Sir, step back! One of them ordered.
Hold on.
Diddy turned to them, his face still wild with rage. This is none of your business! He barked. It is now!
I don't know
One
if
of the
all this
guards
happened,
said.
y'all.
Cassie was shaking as she clung to the other
He
guard.
probably
her
did
face
some of that,
swollen
but,
and
like,
streaked with blood.
put
Diddy
his
glared
feet
at
on her back.
his voice low and dangerous. You'll regret this, he said, his tone dripping with menace.
It's not
The
funny.
guards
I'm not
escorted
laughing
him
at
to
the
the service
situation. I'm just
elevator,
laughing at the
but
fact
his
that
words hung in the air.
she
heavy,
sat there and watched him
threatening.
do all of this.
I stayed hidden until they were gone.
Every
when I
last
stepped
thing.
into the hallway, my legs felt like jelly. The floor was smeared with
And you
blood,
couldn't- you
and the
could've-
silence
both
felt
y'all could've jumped in.
suffocating. I'll never forget that night. The look in Cassie's eyes, the sound of his voice, and the blood on the
Diddy,
floor and walls.
Cassie.
Some things you can't unsee.
You can't.
Surveillance footage from 2016
What was she
allegedly
even doing with
shows
Diddy?
Sean Diddy Combs physically assaulting Cassie Ventura in the lobby of a Los Angeles hotel.
Oh, but
The
there's no
video,
blood, so there's
released
no
in
way that all
2024, depicts
that-
Diddy dragging, shoving, and kicking Ventura during a confrontation. This footage surfaced following her earlier lawsuit, acquitting him of years of abuse, including violent incidents like this one. Combs tried to deny the allegations and claimed the video was manipulated at first. But
You
then,
can't-
when the incident fueled public and legal scrutiny over Diddy's alleged abusive behavior, he came live, apologized to Cassie. Whether he meant that apology or not is definitely a question, but the surveillance footage is enough to make people uncomfortable.
I don't even know what to say, y'all. I hope you enjoyed this, cause this here crazy. I see y'all when I see y'all, man. Peace.